Oh, why does this that kind of day today? Hi, and welcome to Thursday Night Live. I'm your host, Dr. Rita Louise, and thank you all for tuning into the show today. So, I've been so unmotivated since Thanksgiving, and today it's not that it was a bad day, but I did all of this recording because I'm moving to do some videos, and I lost like a day's worth of recording data. So then I spent the afternoon trying to recover my recording data. So I'm a little bit frazzled right now. And I was like, well, you need to put your information for the show together tonight. And then I decided, no, I don't. So I didn't. And so I have nothing except me and you and your questions. But I'm playing around with a new idea and I haven't finalized it because there are things that I need to have happen. But I would like to request your participation in this experiment with me. And I mean, I'm still going to do my regular thing, do your readings, whatever. But if you have a specific question, okay, not a reading question, like, hey, what's going to happen to me? Or what about my relationship? Like, not those kind of questions, but I don't know, about anything else that I might maybe know the answer to. Hang on one second. I'm just going to leave this up on the screen. Go to soulhealer.com and use the comment form and drop me a note because I have it set up that I'm going to get notifications from my emails only. I mean, not that you haven't heard them periodically because I forget to turn them off, but I want to intentionally get notifications from my email so that I can respond to your specific questions. And I have this whole idea in my mind. But today I'm like, you know what? You don't have an idea. So let's just take questions. And if you want to leave a comment, I don't care, just write to me, and help me test this thing out. But again, if you have a question or a comment or anything you would like for me to discuss on air, obviously you can do it in the chat area. But I would love to encourage you today to put that information, go to soulhealer.com, use the contact form, and send me an email. Email me, baby. And I won't put your email into my database, I swear. Okay, so I'm just going to go right to questions, comments, and send me an email. Email me, baby. Okay, so Christine, plus my eyes are tired and I can't, it might be an eyeglass. There it is. Oh my God. All right, hang on one second. Let me see if I can fix this. See, this is how my day has been today. Touch something, it breaks. Look at, I have things fall off the wall. It's like the less I touch, the better it will be. Sorry about that delay. Send me an email. But first up is, and I was looking, I touched something because I was looking for my glasses, which of course are not here. There they go. All right, hang on, guys. Because my eyes are just really tired. All right, so Christine says, hello, how are you doing? I would like a reading number 2, please, and thank you. And Christine, you sure can have a reading number 2. Okay, Christine, and that's your card for today. And Christine, let's see, what do I got for you? So, Christine, I just get the impression that you've been kind of spending more time in your head and less time in your body. I feel like and the word I'm going to use is you want to create, you want to express on whatever level that is. But I feel like you're feeling a little stuck right now. And it's because your body's really not very grounded in the moment. And we can tell we're not really grounded when our energy is really stuck in our heads. And so, meditating, tapping, becoming more mindful, dancing, any of those things will help move you out of your head and back into your body. And that should help move things forward. And just let me know, like, if this has been such a weird period, like, it's just been like up and down, up and down, up and down, like good days, funky days. Today for me personally was, it wasn't bad. It was just weird, Anyway, so Christine, that's you today. Okay. And again, if you want to drop me a note, send it to soulhealer.com. And we have Unar, who is under Wave Lady. She's incognito. She's Wave Lady 1. And she says, it's me, Unar. Good evening, everyone. May I have a number 3 tonight? Thanks. And Unar, you sure can have a number 3. Okay, and this is your card for today. Okay. All right, I'm going to be really honest. I'm feeling a little challenged tonight. So just bear with me. And if I'm not on point today, just cut me some slack because I'm just not feeling it. How's that? Okay, so Unar, okay, I got something. So Unar, I feel like you have been, and I'm going to say kind of chasing the clock. I get the impression that you are trying to make things happen, and I'm going to say, and make them happen on a schedule. I feel like this intense forward motion is I mean, it's not that it's bad, but I feel like it is keeping you somewhat out of alignment, and is creating a different kind of anxiety, because it's like you have to move, 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 and go, 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 and do, do, do. So maybe take a step back, give yourself permission to have it go at its own pace. Kind of like I did tonight. I decided that I was going to let the show have its own pace today, and allow it to unwind and unfold however it is going to. And don't be judgy about it. Just allow. Allow is the word. Okay, so I haven't been hearing my email chiming, but I'm gonna go look. I got all kinds of stuff. So I have a message from Yvonne, and she says, I'm answering your call for putting a comment in and asking a question. I'm definitely moving and wondering if one of the places are a right match for me, Sacramento. See, I said no personal questions. Thanks, I love your readings. All right, Yvonne. This is like a super nice thing that I'm doing, but I said no personal questions, just about questions about stuff. Yvonne. Okay, so, I used to love California. Now I hate California, so I have a certain amount of personal grudge to that, even though Sacramento is vibing for you. Yeah, I'm getting more West Coast for you. I mean, you have Charlotte, Florida, and Austin, which is way closer to me. But right in this moment, Sacramento is where the vibe is for you. So, and then we got a message from Curtis. She says, hi, I've been reading Robert Monroe. Do you believe in the etheric double? Do you think it is critical to our psychic stuff like telepathy? Do you think future humanity will be able to leave their physical body? Okay, so God, Curtis, I haven't read any Robert Monroe material in years. I was probably younger than you are when I was reading his material. So I haven't had any personal experience with the etheric double, or that I can point my finger to, like this happened and I was looking at the etheric double. So I can't really, I'm not saying that it doesn't exist. It is just not, unless you know what you're looking at or have an idea of what it is, it could be staring you in the face and you have no clue. And it could have been staring me in my face and I had no clue. I do not think that it's critical to psychic stuff. Like, well, telepathy is kind of a different category, but I don't think it's critical. I mean, people already leave their physical body when they astral travel. But yes, I think as we grow and I'm going to say ascend to a higher vibration, that we will be more fluid in our bodies than we are right now. Great question, Curtis. See, now that's a perfect question. All right, back to reading, and I got to click the right button. That was actually not too bad. Okay, we have ERRT Radio, and he says, happy Thursday, Dr. Rita, and I might add, you look amazing as always. May I have a reading number 3, please? Thank you. And you sure can. ERRT Radio. See, I think that's interesting because it did not chime, and it's supposed to chime. Okay, hang on one second, because I just heard, no, that was not it. All right, so ERRT Radio, here's your card for today. God, what is with this thing? Okay. Okay. So ERRT Radio, I get the impression that you've been doing a little bit of battle with your inner self. I get the impression that like an old energy, an old emotion, an old belief, an old relationship, I don't know. Oh, there was the chime. something old came to the surface of your conscious awareness, and I feel like it's bothering you, and you are working on, what do I need to do to resolve this? What do I need to do to move it out? And what they're sharing with me is for you to just acknowledge it and embrace it. And as they say, you know, ask, what's the lesson I'm supposed to be learning here? Or what is there in me that I need to look at, change, and update? Yeah, that's it. I mean, I just feel like, you know, this is just some inner clearing work that, you know, it seems like you've been in a very active process in working on. So cool. All right, so Curtis is next, but Unar sent a message, and she said, Dr. Rita, what are your feelings about suicide? Wow. Okay. Interesting question. So there are people that, you know, choose to end their life. You know, they're old, they're sick, they're dying, you know, and I feel like for those people, giving them the opportunity to take their next step and move on, I think that that is humane. I mean, we take our dog or our cat to the vet and have them put down because they're too old and too frail. I mean, I know that I had to put Bitsy, the poodle with the tinfoil hat, down, and that nearly killed me. You know, because I felt like a murderer because it wasn't her choice. But, you know, so in those type situations, I'm kind of okay. I think, you know, doing it really early on, I had a friend client who, not that she said that to me, but I feel like that was what she was doing. She called me and thanked me, and, you know, like she was saying goodbye. And she didn't say that she was doing assisted suicide, but that was kind of my take. But she really wasn't in bad shape. She wasn't on her last leg. You know, she just didn't want to inconvenience anybody. And that bothers me. That really bothers me. You know, and as far as like young people taking their own lives, you know, I just find that sad because I think that there's a solution to many of those issues that they just don't get help with. And that part is just very sad to me. All right, so we're up to Curtis, and he's getting a number 3. And Curtis, I did see your email come through, but I'm going to do this first because I know you're a questioning man. Okay, so Curtis, that's your card for today. So Curtis, I feel like you are feeling like life is maybe a little erratic, that you maybe want to escape a little bit. I feel like there are things in your environment, and that are making you uncomfortable and ill at ease. Perhaps, I mean, I'm not going to negate the discomfort you're feeling. Okay, so I'm not negating the discomfort you're feeling, but maybe you can use that feeling of discomfort as an opportunity to learn some tools of how to deal with and address that discomfort versus using your old coping strategy, which is kind of running away from what is going on and doing weird stuff. And going back into a triggered response, perhaps you can find a more adult, mature, mindful way of addressing the unease within yourself. Okay? All right. All right, so Yvonne, she says, can I get a reading number 3, please? You sure can, Yvonne. Okay, let's do that. And here's your card for today. All right, there you go, Yvonne. And Yvonne, I feel like something's really shifted for you recently. I feel like a shackle's been taken off, or you have been woken up, or you feel freer to do or be yourself. I feel like you've let go of some restriction that was holding you down. And maybe that's what what place looks better, is that whatever was keeping you where you are currently has left the building, and now you have opportunities for new and bigger choices to become more of who you want to be. So it all seems in line. Okay, so I heard that chime, so let's see, what do we got? All right, so Curtis is back and asking about the ascension thing. Okay, so ascension. So if you had asked me 5 years ago, 10 years ago, were people ascending, or about that process, my thought would have been, or my comment would have been, maybe in a couple of thousand years. I mean, I really didn't see any evidence of the possibility of that. But one of the things that's happening is all of the discord and all of the awakening and all of the gaslighting that's happening on the planet, which is really causing people to tune in and turn into their own energy and their own vibration and living their life based on their own truth. And when you live that way, it opens you up more to the free flow of energy in your body. And it is only through shedding all of the blockages and limitations and programming and trauma, et cetera, that is weighing you down and holding you down, that you could ever possibly ascend. I mean, I know a lot of people talk about, like, you'll go into the 5D, and I really don't know what that means. Like, am I in the 5D and you're still in the 3D? Will I never see you again? I don't really know what that means. And, I don't know. Some of the people that talk about it, I just kind of get like the big BS meter activity happening. So, it is on my radar. I do feel like when we can become clear channels, devoid of ego, that the possibility of ascending would ever come and be on the table. All right. So Amy O, Dr. Rita, happy Thursday. May I have a number 2 reading, please? Thank you. And thank you guys for going to soulhealer.com and leaving me a question. And anybody else that has come in here after I've started, if you go to soulhealer.com and go to the question or the comment, the contact page, leave me a note, ask me a question, not a personal question that is a reading, but, about anything, kind of like Curtis, asking about ascension. And I would be happy to respond. And if I don't know, I don't know. Uh-oh, Amy, your favorite card. Ah, uh-oh, Amy. You got a double. A double. All right, so let's see. Okay. All right, so I was going to call it cleared here, but I'm not really feeling it. So I added 2 other cards to that. So Amy, I kind of feel like your energy and my energy are very similar, where it's just kind of up in the, like up in the air. I feel like right now it's really important to not put your finger hard on any one thing, because I feel like that any one thing is in constant movement right now. And just being able to be fluid and open with whatever may come or not is the best place to be. I get the impression this is also giving you the opportunity. You feel like you've been playing around with a lot of things, but that list wants to get smaller. I feel like there's some low-hanging fruit that's ready to fall off the tree. I feel like there's some emotional connection to these low-hanging fruits that want to fall off the tree. But for you to move to the next stage and the next level, that needs to happen. That they need to be put to rest so that the new you can come through out on the other side. Whew, that was a long one, but I hope that makes sense. And put your comments below, or you can send me an email to soulhealer.com and I'll read it on air. I know, ulterior motives, ulterior motives. All right, let's see. I disappeared, Yvonne. It's been that kind of day. I know, technology. Wow, you guys were here way early because that happened at the very full beginning of the show. Oh, it's a full moon, but we're out of Mars retrograde. All right. Okay, Hippen City. I think I'm reading that correctly. Well, hello, Linwood, Washington. I used to do a psychic fair in Linwood, Washington. It was the North End Psychic Fair. So I don't know if you've been there for a long time and you're old like me, but maybe you remember that event because that was my event. So greetings to Thursday Night Live with Dr. Rita Louise. Christine says, this is very true. I've been up and down a lot lately. Okay, good. And then she says, thank you. And then she says, I'd love a reading first time here, number 2, please. And you sure can have a reading. Hypnicity. I don't know. I have no phonic skills. I'm having a hard enough time reading, and I think that's a HIP. Number 2. All right. And let's see what you got. Okay, this is your card for today. And so hypnicity, I'm going to go with that. Hypnicity. I'm feeling like you are due or overdue a trip somewhere. So whether it is you get away for the weekend, go visit some friends, or actually go on a vacation, I'm just feeling like you need a change of scenery. You need something that's going to kind of brighten your day. I feel like you are a little bit stuck in a conundrum of boring stuff, and you're looking for some excitement and joy. And I feel like just having a change of scenery can really do that for you. So get out of town. The weekend's almost here, and have some fun. All right, let's see. Amy says there are 2 Saber chat sessions going on simultaneously. Huh? Okay, so if I'm not talking to you, you're in the other simultaneous chat session. You know, it's from the astral body floating around. It's the etheric double chat room. Yeah, so if I'm not responding to you, it means you are in the other chat room thing. And then ERRT Radio says everything happening in the news is distracting the energy. You know, and I had to kind of back off the news. I was trying to get back onto X and start participating in that community again. And I had to stop. It was too upsetting to me and really messing with my energy. So I go on it maybe twice a day, kind of scroll and get off. Don says, I know silence is golden, but not this much. Oh, hush, hush, hush. And Yvonne, no worries, no worries. Okay. Oh, hang on a second. Is that better? I don't know. So they give us all these new previews in this vertical broadcasting thing, and it made my screen be really small. So, all right, so maybe that fixed the issue. I hope so. I don't know. They keep touching stuff. I keep touching stuff. Okay. So ERRT Radio says, no clue where Yvonne is chatting from, but I miss her on here. And then Yvonne says, thanks, Dr. Rita. I misunderstood, but that was super helpful. Okay, good. And then Curtis says, hi, Dr. Rita. I have a reading number 3. You have 2 live feeds on YouTube. Okay, so let me ask this, and I'm almost to the bottom. So is one vertical and then one horizontal, like, you know, like are the shorts are vertical? And I really do need to know that. If you can let me know, I would really appreciate it, because they changed some buttons on here, and I had both of those showing up on my screen, but I did not know that it would broadcast too. So, yeah. So someone please let me know. Actually, someone please send me an email with that information so that I know. I'd love you for it. Okay, Curtis, here's your reading for today. And actually, this is kind of like what I was talking about before. You know, that I'm just feeling like for you right now, and I'm not saying forever, but a for today thing is to kind of go with the flow and maybe be a little more agreeable and maybe suck it up a little bit, just to kind of get through what's going on and just having it be okay, and finding the joy and finding the lesson, and not allowing situations that are going on around you to impact you so deeply and personally, because I don't feel like those things are personal to you. And again, I feel like this is a really great learning opportunity for you to pick a different way, a different strategy to interact with the world around you. So see, you got it twice from me. Same message, so it must be important. And Pierre says, nice to hear you. Nice to hear you too, Pierre. Okay, and then Eleen's wants to know what the numbers mean. So the numbers mean if you would like a reading, then just say you would like a reading and then provide me with a number from 1 to 3. And that's how many times I'll shuffle the cards on your behalf. 1 to 3. All right. And then Wave Lady says, great read tonight. As always, I can feel it. Thanks again. All right. And then Kimberly Hicks says, number 1 reading, please. Sure thing, Kimberly. And thank you. I see a lot of new names in here, and I really appreciate you coming and joining the group. I'm sorry, this has just been like a weird technical difficulty day for me, and you've had to experience a little of it. But I appreciate you sticking here, sticking with me, and I hope you all come back because I'll be better next week. But I do have good hair tonight. I will say that. Okay, and Kimberly, this is your card for today. Okay. Okay, so Kimberly, this is, I'm not liking what I'm wanting to say, but this is what I got. So I feel like you have just gone through it, and the word I want to use is some trauma, a very challenging period. And I feel like the words they're giving me is you're picking up from the wreckage. You're going through and getting the things that are important to you, that you need to keep, and you're leaving all of the junk behind. And I feel like this process is a purging process for you. I feel like it is, they talk about the dark night of the soul when we get to this place where there's only one way to move, and that way is up. And I feel like you're almost to that place right now. And so I'm feeling like even if it doesn't feel good right now, I feel like where this is heading, or where this has the potential to head, is going to be a big growth, learning, education, and self-committal period for you as the days and weeks move forward. And so, if this time is really challenging right now, hugs to you, prayers to you, but this too shall pass. And then ERRT Radio says, great reading, Dr. Rita, and I think that's why I'm having energy shifts. Okay. Okay. All right, Yvonne, I already read you. No hypnicity? You were just down on the list. And then Yvonne said, yes, yes, yes. Okay, I answered that. Okay. And then, hi, Rosie B77. Nice to see you here. And then Don bowed out. And then Chi Flow Academy. I agree about 5D, but I think it's a state of mind, not a place. In 5D, people claim they operate from compassion, curiosity, energetic sensitivity, a sense everything is connected. Okay. Okay. And I hear that. I totally hear that. And I really appreciate your response. But what I find, and this is like just between me and you, Chi Flow Academy, is that a lot of the times the people that are making these claims and saying all of this stuff are the people that have the biggest freaking egos on the planet. And even though they're like, oh, you'll be in 5D. And I'm like, maybe you're not, because you got a lot of ego. And there's no ego when you ascend and go into 5D or wherever the hell you go. Anyway. Hey, Lady Spitfire, just pick a stream. I don't know. Oh, there you are. Happy Thursday. Can I have a reading, please? Number 2, you sure can. And where are we? Oh, we got time. And again, if your readings make sense, drop me a line using the contact form on soulhealer.com. Would love to hear from you. All right, Lady Spitfire, this card's already come up once today. That's your card for today. Wow. Okay. So I closed my eyes, and the first thing I got was, don't do it. And it was pretty straightforward, don't do it. And I was like, maybe not. And then I closed my eyes again and was like, don't do it. So the confusion that experiencing, I'm going to make the assumption is that you are trying to take an answer that's really no and make it be a yes. But when we hit resistance, when we hit confusion, when we hit, well, I'm not really sure on something that's kind of a yes or no question, the answer is usually no. And we are just trying to talk ourselves out of it. So, Lady Spitfire, don't do it. Well, that was pretty straightforward. All right, let's see, because we got some messages in here. No, Curtis, you're killing me here. All right, I'm gonna go back. Curtis, you know I love you, but okay, Lady Spitfire, Rosie. And she said, I have a reading, please. Number 3, you sure can, Rosie. You know, and always, you know, if the session you get from me today is really vibrating with you, I would totally appreciate it if you would leave me a little something, something in my tip jar. Go to soulhealer.com, scroll over to the Dr. Rita Live page, and you can hit a link for PayPal or use the, you know, shopping cart buttons to leave me a little something, something. I would really appreciate it. You know, Christmas is right around the corner, guys. Anyway. Okay, so Rosie, let's get your card for today. All right, and that's your card for today. So Rosie, I get the impression that you have really been working on keeping your space and kind of keeping your zen to yourself. I get the impression that it's been a little challenging, although you are maintaining to keep the other energy, the world energy, out from around you and infiltrating you and impacting your vibration. So I want to congratulate you on that, because it's been pretty challenging energy, and I feel like you've been able to maintain a good space, even though there's negativity knocking at the door every single second. So good job. Good job. Okay, so Zanubs wanted a reading and said number 5, but I don't do number 5. I only do 1 through 3, Zanub. But that's okay, because I'm going to give you a 3. How's that? Okay, and that's your card for today. So Zunab, I just get the impression that you have really been accessing your inner creativity. I feel like you've really been like in full roll, full progression, full movement forward. I'm taking what is going on inside of you and bringing it out into the physical world. So when I talk about creativity, it is the act of taking anything that is inside and expressing it in the physical world. And I feel like you have just been in that space right now. I feel like there is still more under the surface that is wanting to come out and through. I get the impression that you cycle a little bit, and that's okay to cycle. And so if you feel like that stream of creativity has, and I'm going to say kind of dried up, just be patient with it, because it needs to get more energy to get that flow going, but it will come around and it will cycle again. Okay? All right. Okay, so she says, yes, I'm in the chat with the 16 by 9. And then, no, Kimmy, 1 is I'll shuffle 1 time. 2 is I'll shuffle 2 times. And 3 is I'll shuffle 3 times. Not you get 3 cards. Okay, thank you. Amy says, funny, I told my sister I felt like I was going to get a mass card tonight. The feed cut out a little, but during my read, but I think I got it. Amy, you got 2 mass cards back to back. Jessica says, hey, Dr. Rita, 2, please. I had court today with that ex I mentioned. Oh, my God. So what, did you take holy water? Do we need to get holy water for you? To cleanse you? Maybe you need to go on a mikvah to like ritually purify. Okay. Interesting. So I'm going to kind of twist this card to what's going on. So that's the card you got. So, Jessica, I get the impression that it was actually kind of funny. I feel like you didn't collapse. You didn't give up. You held your space. If there was money involved, I feel like you were more the victor of that. I feel like, I don't know, I just get the impression that there was a lot going on, but you were just like pulled out of the energy and in your space. And it was almost like everything was happening on TV. And so he wasn't able to interrupt you and your energy field because you were just so certain in your space, which I'm sure pissed him off. Good job. But you still get holy water. Everybody spray Jessica with some holy water. Oh my God. Okay, well, see, Chi, I see you here too, so they must all be getting here. But see, I'm only getting 1 set of questions, so who knows? Right, let's see, did we get any other email? Amy says, what are your thoughts about using a variety of tuning forks for healing and resetting your chakras? So, one of my students just started getting into tuning forks. Okay, so I don't have an issue with them. I think that they can work. I'm not a real auditory person, and so things like that and singing bowls don't really resonate with me particularly. I mean, I know that when Kiko, my first poodle, died, I went and got a healing session from this woman at the massage therapist, and I knew that she did yoga. So I knew I was going to like her because she did yoga and she understood what chakras were, which was my big thing. And she did this tuning fork session, and she said that I was vibrating on the table. I mean, because I was out of it. And that's really been my only experience with tuning forks. I know that they can be effective. They're just not my cup of tea, and so maybe get one and see how it is, or get a session for a tuning fork session. I don't know. That's what I got. Okay, let's see. All right. So see, Zinubs, I must have been having a psychic moment because I gave you a 3 anyway. Okay, I already gave you a reading. All right, so I don't think I gave you, and this is Lilio 12. And a number 2, where am I? Okay, good. Uh-oh. Okay, so Lilio, when a mask card comes up, it usually means there's an energy that you don't want to look at or is blocked or there's some denial about. You got a double mask card, so that tells me that it's a little bit thicker. Okay, and I'm going to call this the clearing card. I feel pretty good about it. So there's only one behind it. So I get the impression, and actually the card after that was this, which usually has to do with a choice. But I feel like there is a decision that you need to be making. I feel like you know what the answer is, or the answer is just sitting right there, but you don't want to do it. You don't want to go there. When you look at it, it makes you feel uncomfortable. You think that it's the wrong direction. But I feel like that's your fears and that's your ego. That's your fears and that's your ego getting in the way of you doing what you really know you're supposed to be doing, but you're choosing not to because your fear and your ego are getting in the way. So perhaps acknowledge that fear and acknowledge the ego that is blocking you from moving forward so that you can actually make the choice that spirit is pushing you forward to. Okay? Stop it. All right. Lady Spitfire says, don't do it. I will keep that in mind for sure. Sounds perfect. And then she says, I think my card had a U-turn sign on it. Yes, it did. All right. Where are we? Susan Herb. Susan. We're just going to go with Susan. Number 2. You sure can have a number 2. And again, I want to thank all of you new people for coming to the show today, and I hope you enjoy it. Technical difficulties to the side. And you come back and hang out with me and the other fun people in this chat room. Okay, and here's your card for today. And so, Susan, I am feeling that you feel like you are on tenuous ground. I'm feeling a lot of insecurity in and around you. I mean, I feel like you are historically have been, because you don't have to be this way, a little bit insecure. I feel like that's really ramped up recently in the last week or so. I don't get the impression that you've done anything different from what you normally would do. I feel like you're hitting the energy of other people's judgment, unless you're the one judging yourself, that is putting you in this place. But the energy is definitely of judgment that is sitting under that feeling of insecurity. And so if you've ever done any work on, personal growth and healing, I would bet that the word judgment or feeling judged or feeling like people are judging you has come up over and over, and that would be a core belief for you. And so, if you were wanting to do any clearing work, that would be the core belief, or one of the core beliefs that I would be focusing on, because I feel like that insecurity is tied to that belief. Okay. All right. Okay, card, please. All right, so Lynn Marie would like a reading. Lynn Marie from Chico Academy. I'm going to give you a number 1 since she didn't give me a number. And you're going to be my last person for today. Okay, and that's your card. Okay, so this might sound like a little bit of like an oxymoron, but I feel like you're kind of irritated because people keep trying to take your like your chi away or your flow away or your chill away. I mean, I feel like, you'll get yourself into a good place and then all of this stuff will happen and you end up over there and then you have to work to get back over here and you just want to be over here and you're just tired. Tired's a good word for you, of having to spend so much energy that doesn't really have anything to do with you to get you back to that place of being centered. And so even though you want to be chill, you're kind of pissy. But that's okay because anger, I mean, it's just an emotion. Anger ignites the third chakra. Anger ignites our desire to move forward, or it can ignite our desire to move forward. And I feel like that anger and frustration will just help propel you forward and be more consistent and be more singularly focused on having that be your reality. So kind of oxymoronish, but good. Okay, guys, so that's my last reading for today. I'm going to take a look at these emails here real quick. Okay. Alrighty. And if I push the right buttons, it would all be better. Okay, so Rosie said, thank you, it was on point. We stay in light and positivity in this crazy negative feed. We're bombarded. Stay in the heart space. Yes, ma'am. Everybody stay in the heart space. Okay, so Kelly, you're going to have to come earlier next week. Amy went to the tip jar. You all can go to the tip jar and leave me a little something, something. Go to soulhealer.com. And there's Dr. Rita Live on the top, and there's a number of different ways that you can leave me a little something, something. Christmas is coming. Just saying. ERT Radio said, great show tonight. Dr. Rita, thank you for my reading. So glad you've had the patience to continue tonight. And then Chief Low Academy says, I like singularly focused. Thanks so much. All right, guys, my time is up here for the night. Again, if you would like to schedule a private consultation with me, if you have things going on in your life, you need some help and guidance to moving forward with them, reach out to me, use that contact form, and I'll be happy to set up a time. So until next week, I'm Dr. Rita Louise. This is Thursday Night Live. Be blessed.